Okay, this is part 5 of taking a walk through the Celtic Cross layout. We are ready to look at what might be ahead for this person. We've gone through the positions, the cards in that position, and the possible interpretations for the 7 cards that we see up on the table so far. Let me just say that those interpretations are one of many. I don't want you to take anything that is said in this example or really any other example that you might see someplace as being the only thing that these cards can mean. But we have to sort of take things in context with what the card means in its position, what it means in as a part of this whole picture, and then what we get intuitively. That combination of information is really what tarot reading is all about. So we see the situation where being stuck, maybe even being a little bit misunderstood in the outer life, feeling a little bit, not a little bit, but quite heavy emotionally, kind of serious and confused emotionally, but then also having the optimism of this queen and the vision of this star card at your disposal. So what is the next thing that we can expect? What might be immediately ahead for this person? That is what we see with card 6. In this example, Knight of Cups. So the position of card 6 again is what might be immediately ahead for this person. So the first thing I notice about that is that it takes all of this cup energy, this water energy, this energy that right now is feels like a big mud puddle or a very kind of dark cave or something that this person can't seem quite able to get out of, that the knight doesn't jump out of that, but slowly keeps in the element, keeps in cups, stays in cups in the heart place, but does find a way to gently move out of this quagmire and begin to walk in a new direction. So that brings up a point that I haven't made yet, and that is to pay attention to the way people are facing in your reading, whether it's this reading or any other one. This Devil card is staring us right in the face, almost challenging us. This Queen of Wands is looking toward the future. This person here is looking toward the past. Oh, that didn't work out very well. Ooh, I feel bad about what happened. The Star card is looking toward the possibilities and really not at exactly the literal what's going to happen. Star card is pretty much in the moment here. This Knight of Cups is moving toward the future, moving toward these cards that talk about what's coming. So this feels positive to me in a couple of different ways. First of all, that it stays true to the heart energy here, but does kind of break the spell of this quagmire. It moves slowly. I think that's realistic for what's going on here. I like how it's moving toward the future. Create some sort of change. Card 9, Helper card. Now this can be very a tricky position for people. The traditional meaning of this position is hopes, worst fears, or greatest hopes. Again, I'm not quite sure what that means. That's got too many opposing views there. I don't really prefer that interpretation of this position. I like to think of whatever card comes here as something that's going to be useful to utilize, something important to pay attention to be able to move through this process in a successful way. Whatever card comes here. In this example, we get the Two of Wands, which keeps the same tone of this Knight of Cups in terms of progressive but gentle, open but as yet uncertain. So we're moving in the direction of the future here, but not in very absolutely defined ways. There's possibilities, but the colors aren't quite filled in yet. So it's going to be helpful for this person to keep their options open, to think about the future, to be thinking about the long-term goals here. It's also very interesting to me to note when the Star card and the Two of Wands come up together in the same reading, because in some ways the Star card is the higher vibration of the Two of Wands. Both of these have to do with being visionary, using your concept of what's possible to help create your future, standing in a creative position in your life as the person who makes things happen. It's true in both of these cards. So the Two of Wands says it, you could say, in the minor arcana way. The Star card says it in the major arcana way. Keep your options open, be hopeful, know that you can create the life of your own vision, and move steadily forward. I think that works nicely with this Knight of Cups that also is saying make sure that your heart is in it. This isn't necessarily a pentacle issue. In other words, it's not about how much money or even what the actual outcome is. It's more about keeping the heart in the vision. Keeping the Queen of Wands kind of satisfied that there's something we can do to create a new reality. So the Helper card here, Two of Wands, keeping options open. Okay, and then we see what is the likely outcome. I'll move these down so that gets more in the frame. The likely outcome of the present energy. What, as this unfolds, is the most, and by likely, I really mean that in terms of percentage. What is, if all of these things stay constant, and if the vibe and the components stay as they are, what is the most likely conclusion? I do kind of resist that conclusion word, that outcome word, because that implies some sort of ending or finality. This is really just the next step. What is all of this leading to in the most likely manner? And we see a new beginning there. We see a new, there we see the manifesting card, but we see it in terms of new opportunities, a fresh start. Something is trying to be birthed here. I'm noticing the circle here and the circle here. So I've made the comment about pay attention to the direction that your cards are facing, that they're moving, that can give you a clue about what's going on in your reading. But you can also pay attention to the visual cues around, for instance, here, these circles. I'm just noticing these circles. Sometimes you might see a whole bunch of lines, that might be something that's similar. You might end up with 3 or 4 cards with horses on them. That might say something specific to you. So pay attention to what you notice. Pay attention to the recurring themes. So Ace of Pentacles, new opportunity maybe for work, new sense of feeling like the feet are on the ground. Right now the feet are not on the ground. They're in this swampy mess here. But this is a new day. This feels like new opportunity for solid standing on 2 feet and getting something new going. So to put one more little piece into the puzzle, after you feel like you have squeezed out whatever information you either have time for or energy for with these 10 cards, and just let me say that even though we've gone through those fairly quickly, we can get some information off the top, but that does feel like that's the first layer. There is probably 3 hours more of talking we could do about the connections here, how things speak to each other's counterpart on the other side of the web here. But let it be enough for today that we describe the positions of the layout. We give you some indication of how to move through it. And that if you dealt your cards off the top of your deck, that sometimes I like to take a look at the bottom card. I like to say, okay, these first 10 cards came off the top. This is current reality. This is what's going on. But sometimes the bottom card can give us an idea of an underlying motivator. What is something that's trying to come to the surface? In this situation, in this reading, we get the Six of Wands. Actually, I'll put it there. This is a card that implies success, community. We see people here congratulating this person. This Queen of Wands is very happy to see that. Six of Wands. This implies that her new vision, despite the momentary lapse of clarity, will be able to find some fertile soil and be able to grow something that will be useful for her and for people in the community. So this card just gives us an extra little piece of information. What's under the surface? What is trying to push us toward a conclusion of some kind? What is trying to get its voice heard? Six of Wands really is spurring on this person and saying, don't give up, just keep trying to move forward. Here's another person on a horse, actually. Although in the quiet, modest way this knight is moving, this horse has quite a lot more confidence. So there is confidence that this Queen of Wands is wanting to express that this card is supportive of. So if you have extra energy after reading your first 10, take a look at your bottom card. See what's underneath there. Now join us for part 6 of the walk through the Celtic layout, just for a little wrap up. And we'll see you next time.